My boyfriend was secretly tracking me. So I made a plan to kick him out of my life. I'm 26. I never thought I'd be that girl, the one who ends up with a stalker for a boyfriend. The kind of story you read about online and think, how did she not see the red flags? But life has a way of sneaking up on you, and sometimes the scariest monsters wear the friendliest masks. I met Luke, my ex-boyfriend, at my friend Sarah's housewarming party last spring. I was fresh out of a controlling relationship with my ex, who had spent 2 years trying to dictate everything from what I wore to who I could be friends with. When it finally ended, I felt like I could breathe again. I promised myself I'd never let anyone have that kind of power over me again. Luke seemed different. He walked into the party with an easy smile and a 6-pack of craft beer, cracking jokes that weren't particularly funny, but somehow made everyone laugh anyway. There was something genuine about him, something that made me feel safe. When he offered me a beer and asked about my job in marketing, I found myself opening up. "You seem like you've got your life together," he said, genuinely interested in my career goals and ambitions. That's rare these days. We exchanged numbers that night, and for the next few months, everything was perfect. That's when the cracks started showing. It began subtly. He'd text me throughout the day, asking where I was and who I was with. At first, I found it sweet. He cared about my safety, right? But the questions became more frequent, more demanding. "Who's Michael from accounting?" he'd ask, scrolling through my phone while I was in the shower. "Just a coworker," I'd reply, trying to ignore the knot forming in my stomach. "We're working on the Johnson campaign together." "Why does he need to text you after hours?" The questions always came with that same intense stare, like he was trying to peer into my soul and catch me in a lie. I started keeping my phone closer, changing my passwords more frequently. But Luke always found a way. One evening, I was having coffee with a client at my favorite cafe downtown. We were discussing a potential marketing strategy for his startup, completely professional. The next thing I knew, Luke was blowing up my phone with messages. "Who is he?" The text came with a photo of me and my client, clearly taken from across the street. "Why are you sitting so close to him?" My hands shook as I replied, trying to explain. But Luke wasn't interested in explanations. When I got home, he was waiting, his face dark with anger. "You're mine," he said, his voice eerily calm. "I won't let anyone take you away from me." I left that night, stayed with Sarah for a few days. Luke's voicemails flooded my phone. Apologies, promises to change, declarations of love. My friends said I should give him another chance. "He's just insecure," they said. "All guys get jealous sometimes." So I went back. God, I wish I hadn't. The real turning point came a few weeks ago. Luke offered to take my car for an oil change while I was at work. I didn't think twice about it. He'd done thoughtful things like this before, and I was busy preparing for my mom's birthday celebration that weekend. The party was lovely, just family and close friends gathered at my parents' house. Luke couldn't make it due to overtime at work, but I didn't mind having some family time to myself. It wasn't until I was heading home that evening that everything changed. My phone buzzed with a notification. "AirTag found moving with you." My heart stopped. I clicked play sound and followed the faint beeping to my trunk. There, hidden beneath the carpet lining, was a small white disc, an AirTag tracker. With shaking hands, I Googled how to check the device's registration. The last 4 digits of the associated phone number appeared on my screen, and my blood ran cold. I knew those numbers. They belonged to Luke. That night, I lay awake beside him, my mind racing. This wasn't love, it was control, possession, obsession. I needed to get out, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. Luke had already shown me what he was capable of. I started planning. First, I put the AirTag back exactly where I'd found it. I shared my real-time location with my brother, Jake, and changed every password I had. I moved my money to a new account at a different bank, told Luke I needed it for a friend's startup investment. I documented everything. When I finally confronted him, I made sure Jake was outside our apartment door. I had a hidden camera running just in case. "I found the AirTag," I said, holding up the small tracker. Want to explain why you're stalking me? Luke's face went through a series of emotions: surprise, anger, then something darker. I'm not stalking you, he said, his voice low. I'm protecting you, making sure you're safe. Safe from what, Luke? From living my own life. You don't understand. He stepped closer, blocking my path to the door. I love you. I'll never let you go. You're mine forever. The word, mine, triggered something in me. All the anger, fear, and resentment I'd been holding back came rushing out. I'm not yours, I spat. I'm not anyone's property. That's when he raised his hand, and I saw what he truly was. Not the charming guy from the party, not the caring boyfriend, but a monster wearing a familiar face. Before he could touch me, Jake burst through the door. Luke backed down immediately, trying to play it off as a misunderstanding. But we all knew what would have happened if Jake hadn't been there. I moved back in with my parents that night. Luke's threats came flooding in: texts, emails, voicemails promising he'd find me, that we'd be together forever. But I had evidence now: the air tag, the camera footage, the threatening messages. I took it all to the police and filed for a restraining order. It's been 3 months since then. I heard through mutual friends that Luke was arrested last week. Turns out I wasn't the first woman he'd stalked. Another ex-girlfriend came forward with similar stories, and now he's facing serious charges. I'm still healing, still jumping at unexpected notifications on my phone. But I'm free. I'm back in control of my own life, and I'm learning to trust my instincts again. My family has been my rock through all of this, especially Jake, who checks in on me daily and helped me install a security system at my new apartment. Sometimes I catch myself wondering if I could have seen it coming, if there were signs I missed. But I know now that abusers like Luke are masters of disguise. They show you exactly what you want to see until they think they have you trapped. The other day, I was having coffee with Sarah, and she asked me if I was ready to start dating again. I laughed and told her I'm taking a break from men for a while. I need to focus on myself, on rebuilding the confidence that Luke tried to strip away from me. Love isn't about control. It's not about possession or obsession or tracking devices hidden in car trunks. Real love is built on trust, respect, and the freedom to be yourself. I may not have found it yet, but at least now I know what to look for and, more importantly, what to run from. For now, I'm focusing on healing, on rebuilding my career, and on appreciating the people who helped me escape. My family, my true friends, even the police officers who took my case seriously. They showed me what real support looks like. As for Luke, I heard he'll be in jail for a while. Part of me hopes he gets help, learns to change. But a bigger part of me is just grateful that he's out of my life, that I found the strength to leave before it was too late. Sometimes the scariest part of being trapped isn't the prison itself. It's realizing that you've been carrying the key all along, too afraid to use it. But I did use it. I got out. And if my story helps even one other person recognize the signs and find their own strength to leave, then maybe some good can come from all of this. Because in the end, we all deserve to be free.